I said at the start of this series that whilst this is a relatively simple exercise to learn, that once we've got the basics of it down, we can make it literally as complex or as challenging as we want to do to push ourselves, as hard as we want to push ourselves. Before I get into how we're going to do that, I just want to stress that you need to really be comfortable with the techniques that we covered on the first three parts before attempting this. Otherwise you won't get really the most benefit from it. It won't make as much sense to you. So I really do suggest, if you're not happy with playing the other parts of the exercise clean and in time, if you're not at that point yet, then I would perhaps practice that more before moving on any further. So the things that we've looked at are so far the four notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, just playing them in one position. So that's a practice point to get to where you're comfortable with that. Clean notes, fingertips, good synchronisation between your picking hand and your fretting hand to make sure all the notes come out nicely. Make sure you're comfortable with that before you move on to the next part. Again, the metronome is king, keeps you in time, and make sure that you're tackling the bits you find challenging at the same tempo as the ones that you find easy. Once you did that, we went on to moving that pattern up the neck and then eventually back down the neck with a little stretch on, if you remember. So just a quick recap. So we're playing all on one string with our 1, 2, 3, 4 fingering, but we move that up and down the neck rather than just staying in the same position. The next thing that we added was using 2 strings instead of 1 string. The example that I played was across the E string and the A string. I played the same notes on the E string and the A string before moving up a fret. So it went something like this. We also said that we can practice that on any string, any one string if we're doing the first simple version, or any pair of strings if we're doing the 2-string version. So ideally you'd be comfortable playing that across a range of frets, not necessarily all of them, and hopefully across all the different string pairs on your neck. With that said, if you are happy with that and you want something more challenging, then the next step really does take it up a level, and what we're going to change now is the numbers, the fingering. So instead of playing 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to change that to something different. There's loads of different variations of how you can change it. I'll try and demonstrate a few of them to you, but your imagination really is the limit on this. So as a quick example, rather than playing the 1, 2, 3, 4, if I was to change that completely around and play 4, 3, 2, 1, I'd get something like this. Just on the basic pattern, playing up the string. If I was to use the 2-string technique that we should be on by now, play the same pattern, I'd be doing different strings, whichever way you want to practice it. Obviously, people tend to gravitate towards playing something that they find simple because it sounds better and you can play it faster. My advice would be to try and work on the things that you find difficult, the ones that you find stuttering, and then you're going to really improve them because you're working on your weaknesses rather than just playing what sounds good. You don't have to play your fingers in order, so you don't have to play 1, 2, 3, 4 or 4, 3, 2, 1. I could also play 1, 2, 4, 3. So if I just go up one string, just to show it simply. To play that same order of notes, 1, 2, 4, 3, across the two strings that we've learnt, it will sound like this. So the exercise is unlimited by your imagination of what order you want to put the notes in. You can make them as difficult or as simple as you want to. I was playing on those examples 4 notes on my E string and then 4 notes on my A string. I can make it a lot harder by playing 2 notes on my E string, then switching to my A string in between. So I play my first 2 notes on my E string, and then using the last pattern we used, the 4-3, I'll play the 4-3 on my A string, and then I can play 1-2 on my A string, 4-3 on my E string. I just made that up randomly, but if you try to play it as a pattern, it sounds like an exercise. It's not musical at all, but the key thing is you're working different finger movements, taking your fingers on and off at different times, challenging your muscles, getting the synchronization and coordination right between your picking hand and your fretting hand. So you're working all those things, and the sky's the limit. You can make that exercise as difficult as you want. The full version, the thing that I just talked about now, I actually picked that up from a column in a guitar magazine that was written by a professional guitar player, very, very talented, capable guitar player, fast, all the tricks, all of everything, and he used to use that as a warm-up technique. So literally from the 1-string pattern, which is something that should be accessible to beginner players or people who have not spent very much time at all on the instrument, to use the same basic exercise to go from the just in one position, to build that up into the full blown, as difficult as you want it pattern. Hopefully you'll be able to get something from this at whichever level that you want to play it at.